We're letting people in. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Sharon. I'm going to put these over here for now. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Jamie, Deb, Cammie. Hello, Tina. Hello, Read AI Meeting Notes is joining us again. I don't think that's a real person. Hi, everybody. Hi, Deb. Hi, Lori. Hi, everybody. What do you think of our sets? Welcome in if you're joining us live. Hi, Crystal on Zoom or TikTok. Hi to you, too. TikTok, folks, if you want to see what's on the cool green screen, click on over to Zoom and you can see our UFC Gym logo behind us. And we've got some special guests. Now, you all know we're a small setup here, so we're going to be nice and cozy and crunched. I'm Jennifer. I'm the Executive Director for Amputee Aid. Nice to see you all. Over here is Emily. Emily is our social worker for Amputee Aid. And we have two special guests here. We have Coach Tom and Coach Jonathan, or John, depending on whether you're a Pittsburgher or not. He'll explain that in a minute. From UFC Gym, who have joined us today for a special episode of Life Amplified. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see you all. We're going to throw up the comments for those of you who are joining us live. You know I love to know where you are from, whether you've been with us lots of times or you're new to us today. Welcome to Life Amplified. It's Wednesday, 2 o'clock Eastern time in the Pittsburgh area, and that means it is our time to get together. As many of you know, Life Amplified is a weekly webinar brought to you by Amputee Aid. We're a Pittsburgh-based 501c3, but we serve folks in the limb loss and limb difference community all over the country. We like to get together, learn a lot, share a lot of information, educate, have fun, and today in particular, we're going to do all of those things, okay? So we're going to educate you on adaptable fitness for the limb loss, limb difference community. We're going to have some fun because Emily and I are going to do our best, thus our workout clothes, to try. We're going to try, okay, guys? So we're not, their level is way up here, we're somewhere down in here, but we're going to do our best, okay? If you want to try with us, please, we can see you all on the screen here. For those of you joining us live on Zoom, you're welcome to try. Otherwise, take some notes and try these at home. We'll send the information out every Friday with our recording as well. Couple of reminders as we get started. First, please share in the comments where you are from. Nick and Lucha are behind the screen. They'll be reading comments for us and alerting us of any questions that you have, but you're always welcome to come off of mute or raise your hand with the emojis on Zoom and ask your questions as we go along. You don't have to wait until the end, but we have blocked off some time at the end of our presentation to answer any questions that you have. Nick and Lucha, can we put the comment screen on the side so that we can see it also? They're going to take care of that for us. So just know, for all of our friends joining us live, we can see your faces. We can't see the comments yet, but Nick and Lucho can, and they'll take care of that for us. Second reminder, we are recording our webinar for all of our friends who watch us later after today on YouTube. All right, so the recording captures your voice. It does not capture your faces. I see Chicago, Illinois. I saw St. Petersburg, Florida in there. Iowa, hello, hello to all of our friends. We didn't see another Chicago person. Hi, Chuck and Linda. Ontario, Canada is in the house. Hi, everybody. I hope it's nice. John in Florida, I hope it's nice where you are in Florida. It's super cold here in Pittsburgh, and I know a lot of us are going to get a big storm over the weekend, so be safe, okay? I guess of all time, this would be the time to learn how to do at-home fitness, because you're probably not going to the gym this weekend, most of you, okay? That's my point. We are recording, all right? So we can see your faces. The recording does not capture your faces, but it does capture your voice. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't really want your voice on the internet for everyone to hear, that's okay. Put your comments in the chat. We can see them now, and we will read your comments as we go along, whether it's kudos to us for doing the exercises, or kudos to the gentleman for teaching us them, or if you have a criticism, be nice, all right, or questions, we'll monitor the comments, but you're also welcome to speak live. Just know that we are capturing your recording. Okay. Now, third thing, reminder that this is a safe space for everyone, particularly us today, because we're doing the exercises. So be nice. All right. Be nice to all of us. But this is a safe space. So if you have a very personal question, we want to hear from you, but probably not in this forum. If you are already working with us, text or call Emily or me, and we'll talk with you privately about your own personal medical issues or financial issues or things relevant to your case. If you're not yet working with us and you want to, just click the little blue Get Help button on our website, amputee-aid.com. We would love to get to know you. This space is a group setting. So we're meeting with you all live, with all of you on TikTok live, with our friends on UFC Gyms live. Hi, everybody over there. Didn't want to neglect you. All these rules apply to you as well. All right. But if you have a personal situation, we'd love to talk to you separately about that. I see. And as you all know, we have some folks kind of trickle in later, maybe from another group, or they're getting a break from work, or they're sneaking in a break from work. So you'll see people coming and going over the next hour. final reminder. We are talking about fitness today, but please know this does not replace your medical advice, your physical trainer's advice, or your physical therapist's advice, okay? So we're going to talk about general concepts, right, gentlemen?
Absolutely.
Yes, okay, and they'll talk more about that in a moment. I don't want to hear anyone say, my trainers from UFC Gym in Pittsburgh told me to do X, Y, and Z. No, none of that, okay? We are going to give you some suggestions, some things to try, but please know what your body is telling you. If you're not sure that this is a safe thing for you to do, you have an injury, you're recovering with something with your limb, you're not sure about your hip flexors and your prosthetic isn't fitting right, something like that, please go talk to your doctor, your physical therapist, and your trainer. And if you don't have one, contact Emily, and she will put you in contact with someone. So we're talking about global concepts. This does not replace your medical advice. Everybody okay with that? Let me see some thumbs up, some hands, hand heart, something. I see yes. Okay, everybody agrees. All right. I don't know if that's legally binding, but we're going to assume it is, that you all understand. You all understand the expectations here today. Thank you, everyone, for that. All right. So we're going to start with Emily. And you see, we've all got white papers because we captured some questions that we are often asked on social media and in webinars that we are going to ask our guests while we're here. But we're going to start with Emily so that she can introduce who we have here today, and then I'll have them introduce themselves as well. Okay.
Hi, everyone. So UFC Gym, where discipline meets determination and champions are built. UFC Gym is the space where fitness, mixed martial arts, and mindset all come together. The coaches talk about strength, technique, recovery, and the mental toughness it takes to push past limits. Whether you're an athlete or you're just starting your fitness journey, this episode is all about breaking barriers and celebrating what the body can do. Every body is built to move. And so we have Tom and Jonathan here.
Nice.
And so go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tommy Guild. I'm a personal trainer at the UFC Gym in Market Square. I specialize in bodybuilding, mostly a little bit of weight loss, and I like to say I'm a professional motivator. I like to just get in there and be a friend to any people that I'm working with, and just spread my love for fitness and share with people how it's positively impacted my life, and hopefully help others do the same. Just like everybody else, I've been through some tough mental times in my life, and the one thing that has been constant for me is my fitness and working out, specifically weightlifting. So it changed my life, and so that's kind of the direction I wanted to go, is help other people change their lives similarly through the gym, through fitness, because it can do great things for your mental, and everybody knows the great things it can do for your physical health. So I just love it. I'm all about fitness, and that led me to where I am today, and I'm super grateful for that. I'm happy to be here with you guys, and hopefully we can all learn something. I'm here to learn a little bit just as well as you guys, so hopefully we can all do that.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, go right ahead.
Oh, my name is Jonathan. Hello, everybody. I've been doing health and fitness now for 22 years. I have a lot of personal training experience. I've been with the UFC Gym now. I think it's going on 4 months now. I'm really grateful to be with the company. They've really welcomed me with open arms. I'm a former men's physique bodybuilder, first place winner.
Nice.
Health and fitness has really changed my life, and I'm really grateful for it. It's taught me, work ethic. It's taught me, how to, get by when times get tough. It's taught me, that sometimes a little bit of pressure is healthy during tough times. So, going through those, tough challenges, even during a grueling workout, can apply to real life circumstances. So that's what I love about health and fitness. It literally teaches you not just how to take care of your body, take care of your mind, your body, your soul, all that stuff, and how to overcome, obstacles in life. And I'm also, I guess you can call me a professional motivator myself. I love helping people out, and I love being able to watch people, move forward and just succeed. So
great. Well, thank you both for being here. So, as you all can hear, these are experts. Okay, we are fortunate that UFC Gym has sent them to us here for free dollars. We just talked about free 99 or free dollars last week. We love free, but we also love experts even more. All right, so they gave us their time, and we're very thankful for that. Now, am I right to say you do not have to be an expert, a professional bodybuilder, to go to a gym?
Absolutely.
No, gyms are for everybody, right?
Yes.
Okay. And we've got some basic questions here that we often get asked. But before we get started, gentlemen, are there any other disclaimers or warnings or things that you think we should be aware of before we hear from both of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything we're going to show you different ways that you can modify these workouts for any type of concern you might have. Also, like you mentioned, this is not to discredit anything like a dietitian were to tell you or a doctor. We are fitness professionals, but we got to work within our scope of knowledge. And so just take everything we say with a grain of salt, and just try to learn from it, if anything, and go by your ability. I'd say stick to your ability, and everything should be okay.
So let's start with ability, gentlemen. So a question we commonly get asked is, how do you, as the experts, assess somebody's mobility, strength, or balance in order to design an exercise or decide an appropriate exercise for them? What are the kinds of things we're looking for to know that somebody's mobile enough, has good enough balance or core strength to even consider exercising?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you want to start with the bare bones. So with any workout, you want to start with body weight. Maybe even assisted by holding something. As far as balance goes, standing there on one foot, walking forward in a straight line, walking backward in a straight line, marching, anything like that. And with the workouts, before you get into using weights, I recommend doing, like I said, the bare bones, like a body weight squat while holding something. Or use a chair, for example, sit in the chair, stand up before you add weight on your back. Same thing goes with, say, a bench press or any type of pushing movement. Maybe start on your knees or start on an incline. Anything that is the easiest version of that workout, make sure you nail the form, and you're feeling it in all the right places. And then you can move forward and progress and add weight and anything like that. You also want to make sure you're avoiding any pain and bad discomfort. Some discomfort's okay. That means you're working out and you're working hard, but you don't want any pain. So you're constantly checking in with whoever you're working with, avoiding pain and starting at the very basics, making sure they are balanced and they're feeling it in all the right places, things like that.
I'm glad that you said that, because y'all, if you did not watch our episode with Coach Jake in November, go back on our YouTube page and watch that, because he said something very similar, which is no pain is good, right? If you feel uncomfortable, that might mean that you're working out, but if it's pain, that should never happen, right?
Yeah,
okay, so that's a red flag. If you feel that something is painful, stop immediately and you need to talk to an expert. Now, you had mentioned maybe some modifications that folks would do, and that's actually our second question. Okay, so for example, folks, if you are newer to using a prosthetic leg, for example, and walking is difficult for you, you might consider doing exercises from a seated position, right? What other kinds of modifications might you suggest for folks?
My biggest one is using hand assistance. So if you're doing anything walking, say, for example, use this chair or anything, like even just a calf raise. Use your chair.
Try it. We're gonna start. We're gonna start demonstrating things, everybody.
So
I wrote definitely into doing this. Okay.
A calf raise is a common workout for the lower leg on the calf here, and some people like to do it with a bar. Some people like to do it with weights in their hands. But a modification to start at the very base is just to hold on to something here, and preferably something around your hip height, and just going up and down. So I would like for you to try it here, just holding on. You can come in front here. You can hold on here and just go up and down, slow and controlled the whole way. Go onto your tippy toes. Yep. And down.
There you go.
And this is a great modification. Anybody can do this. Granted, I mean, you gotta just put in the work. And yeah, even just having a partner here to hold your hand along the way. You don't need a chair. You can hold onto the wall. This is a great way to start with something like a calf raise here.
So the one thing I'm thinking is, maybe at your kitchen counter, for example, that kind of height. If you are a leg amputee, you're going to want to use your hands for balance. If you have a hand or arm amputation, you might use a partner, someone who you can lean on, who can help you while you're working on that calf piece. And what does that do exactly? What are we, is it to build our calf muscles to be super strong, or tell us what happens?
Build the strength in your calves. It'll help you with your balance, with your day-to-day tasks, walking up the stairs, getting out of a chair. And if you're somebody like me, you load it up really heavy and it'll help you jump high and dunk a basketball. So there's all types of levels for these things, but they can benefit everybody.
Okay. Do you have any other suggestions for modifications that people can do?
Absolutely. So the biggest leg workout is a squat. Everybody loves to do that. Everybody wants big tree trunk legs, but obviously some people, we need to start at the basics. So you can add in a chair plus assistance. So at the UFC gym, actually, we have these things called TRX bands, which are attached up there, and you can hold on to them, and they support your body weight. So this ends up being a little bit of an upper body as well as a lower body workout. So what you do is you hold on to it, support your weight, and you resist the weight down to a seated position, and then you push through your heels and you stand up and pull yourself up. And this is one of the most basic forms of a squat, but a squat is one of the most effective leg workouts. So if you're interested in getting into a squat, I recommend started seated with hand assistance as well.
Okay. Now, Candy had a great question. Can amputees do that? Candy, at some point, maybe. It depends on your ability, your limb, your core strength, and where you are at in your journey as an amputee. I can tell you that our founder, Carl, who is a left below knee amputee, right below knee amputee, sorry, Carl, when he watches this, he can do this. Someone who has hip disarticulation, who is a above the knee amputee, newer into the journey, might not be able to do that yet, which is why it's very, very important to talk to your physical therapist and your doctor before you engage in any activity. The takeaway here is that there are modifications to some activities, but not all exercises are available for everyone or doable for everyone, and that's okay, right? Okay. The bands that you mentioned, can we buy those on like Amazon?
Yeah. The brand is TRX. I've never personally looked into buying them, but they're great. You can attach them to any structure, and it'll help you with standing. If you're somebody that struggles with just getting out of a chair, I would definitely recommend looking into that because, like I said, it's an upper body movement as well as it helps you with your balance.
Got it.
It's a really safe way to be getting up and down, even out of bed or anything. If you can attach it near your bed, you can pull yourself up. And then the goal is to eventually do it enough times and build up enough strength and balance where you don't need to use them. That's the whole goal with everything we do. Even personal training, the goal is to get you into the gym, get you sufficient enough to go on your way. So that's what these modifications are for, to build you up, and then eventually you're self-sufficient with those.
Great. Okay, good. What else can you show us?
John, you got any ideas here?
Okay, so we want to stick to legs, right? We want to stick to legs. So a big thing that I like to do, like with legs, okay, is, lunges, okay? We got to consider, okay, are we working with somebody that has, a new prosthetic leg? So the chair or a counter or something you can hold on to. So let's see, do I have enough room here to kind of demonstrate here?
Yeah.
I think we can make it work.
I'll make it work.
Okay.
So like something little like this where, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Having you see how like I have my leg back right here with it off the floor, slow and controlled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Using your hands to support
using your hands
balance.
to support your balance, okay? Now, if it's difficult at first, understand, I talked about, slow and controlled. A lot of times, range of motion might be an issue. Work your way to getting lower. You don't have to go low right off the bat. So if you're like right here, that's fine, okay? Build your way up, okay? But get to yourself to a point where you're comfortable, where you can get lower, okay? And up. Slow and controlled. Am I making sense, everybody?
Yeah,
now, you used a term range of motion. What is that for people who don't know?
Okay, so range of motion, I'm glad you asked. Okay, so I'm probably going to sound very...
He's an expert, so give us the expert answer, and then we'll try to make it
there are
plain
three
English.
phases, okay, of a lift. Okay, you got your positive, you got your static, and you got your negative. Okay, the positive, okay, is whenever you're coming down, okay? All right? And then you got the negative coming on the way up, okay?
Got it.
But whenever you're pausing up at the top, okay, that's the static, okay? Where you're strongest is at your negative, okay? I really emphasize on the negative because that's where you're at your strongest, okay? And the static is your second strongest. The positive is where you're at your weakest. You ever notice, like, if you're ever doing an exercise, like, I'm just going to use kind of curls as an example. You're going to get to a point where you can't do it anymore, okay?
Yeah.
All right? Well, your positive strength's completely depleted, all right? So you still got that other phase, those other phases. You got your static, you got your negative. So you go through the full range of motion, okay? So all the way down, okay, there's one phase. All the way up, next phase, and then at the top, pause, next phase.
Okay, good to know, good to know.
Yeah.
Now, shall I ask you another question, or do you have some other examples you want to show us
I have
first?
one more point with range of motion. So especially with something like the squat, I have a lot of people in my group classes. A squat can be an intimidating workout. You might think you have to go through the full range of motion, which is starting up here, about 90 degrees, keep your back flat, push through your heels here, and do the full range of motion. But some people can't do that, and so they avoid the exercise completely. And that's not what you want to do. You want to grab those modifications I was telling you about, the handlebars or the seat, And you don't need to go through the whole range of motion with something like a squat. You can start going just maybe a quarter of that right here and up. You're still working out the glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves even. So that's just a reminder, range of motion, you don't need to check the whole thing. You can limit the range of motion and still do the workout, still benefit. And just like everything we're doing, you can progress all the way up into a full squat. So it's important to remember.
Now, I'm going to throw a wild card question at you. We'll see how much of expert because this is not on the run of show list.
Let's see if we can do it.
Let's see how we can do. Okay.
All right.
So a lot of folks who are lower limb amputees focus on their hip flexors.
Yes.
Okay. And because that helps with your balance, with your ability to walk, with your ability to carry the weight of a prosthetic. What suggestions do one or both of you have for working on the strength with your hip flexors? And have I asked that question correctly? Am I using the correct terminology?
Yes, you did.
All right. Okay. A for me. All right. Gentlemen, any suggestions you have?
Okay, so hip flexors. Okay, so we're dealing with people that have both prosthetics, right?
One or two. Yeah.
One or two. Okay, that is a good question. Okay.
It'll be some of these, man.
So you want to do it in a seated position, alrighty? Because obviously we're trying to build that back up, okay? You're gonna crawl before you walk, okay? And he mentioned a really good point, okay? So obviously, this right here, works your hips right here, going up and down. And I use the terminology movement is medicine. Mm-hmm. So like this may not seem like it's doing much, but you're really doing a lot. You're keeping it active. Okay, you're keeping, your hip flexors strong, even if there's no weight involved, okay? Mm-hmm. So you can start off with something like that, like he said,
Just a leg lift right here.
And then if you can get it up to the point where you can stretch, because if you notice, if you get higher, you're stretching them hip flexors.
Right.
Okay? The farther you go.
I'm not in the screen. Hold on, guys. Okay.
You're cool.
Okay, keep going.
So notice, like, when you get to this point, okay?
Yes.
And if, like, let's say you have, like, both your arms, you could actually do this and pull it to your chest.
And if you don't, could you have a partner help you with this?
Oh, absolutely you can. Yeah, absolutely you can. So, like, both legs, and then you get to the point, stretch, all right? And then I usually like to, have my legs start moving my legs out because, your legs move in all kinds of directions. Mm-hmm. So I would do this then because you want to keep all, the hip, the range of motion.
Yep. You can even add a static hold in as well. If just going up and down is too easy, you can hold it in a static hold just right here.
Just hold it there.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry too much about reps or anything like that. I'd go for time, go until it gets a little bit difficult, and then take a break and do it again.
All right. Now, I'm doing this obviously in a standing position if you're comfortable and able to do that.
Yeah.
But you're also able to do this in the seated position. Now, Crystal, great point. You can use your walker as support. Yes, you absolutely can. Make sure the wheels are disengaged, okay? We don't want anyone scooting away.
Yeah.
And John made a point that I think brings us to our next question. Is that okay if I ask that question?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm moving around. I like this, guys, Lucio and Nick, because usually look at how close I can get to you all. Hi, everybody. Usually we're like way back there. All right. I can check my hair. All right. Anyway, so John made a good point here, and it goes to our next question. So John's point is, he was working out a lot, and then he became a bilateral above knee amputee. No weight anymore, so he was doing leg exercises, but using weights. And then doctor said, no, that could actually harm you.
Okay.
Good point. Always talk to your doctor before you engage in activities, even these basic activities. Now, you can tell your doctor, I watched this webinar, Life Amplified, and here's some things they suggested. What do you think? In fact, you should do that. But don't become a Google personal trainer and figure out things on your own, okay? And using weights might not be a good thing, and they weren't for John, he made a point, which brings us to our next question, okay? So, question is, that we received from TikTok, if someone does not exercise for a while, they might not know the difference between being tired from exercising and truly overdoing it.
Yeah.
So what signs do folks look for to know the difference between I'm just tired from working out or I've actually overdone my workout?
Yeah, it's a good question. And everybody individually has different limitations. The one thing we did talk about earlier is pain. Always avoid pain. If something hurts, don't do it. Find a better way to do it with the modification. Another key indicator that you are overdoing it is dizziness. That's a big one. Once you hit that point, it's hard to continue your workout. It's definitely best to stop and come back to it at a later point. But if you're realizing that you're starting to feel dizzy, it might be a sign you're pushing yourself a little bit too hard and to kind of draw back a little bit, take a break. So my big two ones are pain and dizziness. And then another one is how long you're sore after. You don't want to be sore for a week plus afterwards. If you don't work out and you go into working out, it is normal to be sore for a few days. But if it's lasting for longer than 3-4 days up to a week, that might be a sign you might be overworking a little bit. So those are just some things to look out for.
Okay, so monitor soreness, look for how tired, dizzy, pain is always a no, right?
Yes,
okay, all right. Any other suggestions or comments you have on that?
I like that. Anything from you, Jonathan?
Yeah, you brought up about soreness. Understanding the difference between overtraining and actually being like, like actually sore. Okay, like overtraining does exist. Okay, so we need to understand. Okay, listen to our bodies. That is the most important thing. Okay, and he brought up about the dizziness. He brought up about pain, but like understand that you can go too long. Working out.
Okay.
Yeah, you can definitely go too long working out, and I get it. You're trying to like maybe like achieve a better health and fitness status in your life, but slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I mean, like you got to crawl before you walk. Okay, so listen to your body. If you're feeling like tired. Like a lot of times, like I've had this happen. Like when I first got involved in health and fitness, I was overdoing it. You know what I mean? So like I felt just tired and run down. If you start feeling tired and run down, maybe it's a little time for a little bit of recovery. Recovery is so important whenever it comes to, overall fitness, okay? Not just the training, not just, mobility, but recovery. It's really important.
Great point. We've used the word partner a couple of times, and I think this is also another time when a partner would be helpful. So if you have an accountability partner who says, hey, I think we should take a break, you're overdoing it, find someone who's going to be a partner with you, either a spotter, a helper, or someone working out with you who's going to be honest, right?
Yeah.
We don't all have to be Sylvester Stallone, or you two. Okay, ask someone, whether we should take a break. Now, I saw Van Gregory had his hand up. Van Gregory, if you had a question, you're welcome to come off of mute. And while he's doing that, everyone congratulate Van Gregory because he recently won a very prestigious award at the Amputee Coalition Conference. So celebrations, hearts, hand claps for Van Gregory. Congratulations!
Nice.
And Van Gregory is usually he's actually looks like he's working out right now.
Yeah.
If you're able to chat, come off mute. Otherwise, put your comment in the chat and we'll read it for you. Oh, is Van Gregory talking? We just can't hear him?
Oh, no, I think, can you hear me?
No, we can't hear.
Oh, no. Okay, Van Gregory, we are having trouble hearing you, buddy, and I feel bad because I wanted you to sing your own praises about your award. Put your comment in the chat, okay? And I see John had a question too. Since we had some issues with audio, put your comment in the chat too, and we'll try to get to it, and we'll figure that out on our side, okay? Everyone adores Van Gregory, and I'm not surprised to see him working out. So he might have some other tips for us, guys.
Yeah,
all right.
for sure.
So while we're looking for those comments, let's go to another question, which is although you all work for UFC Gym, sometimes people work out at home.
Yeah.
So what other exercises can you show us for at-home workout?
Absolutely. So when it comes to upper body, shoulders, arms, some of my go-to, and even my grandmother, I had her at the gym doing these workouts. So you don't need any weights. As far as shoulder goes, you got to hit your lateral delt, your front delt,
Emily.
and importantly, your rear delt. So if you can do them standing or seated, raising your arms out to the side, slow and controlled, controlling the weight down. It's called the eccentric, controlling this way and this way. It's great for your shoulders. You got out in front of you, you got out to your side, and then you have backwards. And so it might help if you can get up here actually, and you want to have a slight bend and hold your hand right here and just raise your arm out to your side.
So no weights required for this?
Not at all.
You don't need a soup can, milk jug, nothing. You can just do your own body weight,
Absolutely. And the best thing about these, you can progress to infinity. You can sit there with a cup of water and go like this, and then you could get up to 20 pounds in your hand going like this, and you never have to leave your house. But you do need an object that weighs if you want to progress.
Okay. Now you said deltoids?
Yeah, deltoids, that's your shoulder. You have the front, the side, and the back.
Got it.
Yeah, and so that works this way,
okay,
and then behind you in that way, and overhead. Overhead is another great one. Even if you just have 5 minutes there and you have no weights, just do some reps of this. Just push your hands over your head, reach out, grab, full range of motion, down, and then come back, do it to the side, do it to the front. You need no weights. You can do that at home. As far as lower body workouts, you have a squat like I showed you, just like this. It's important to keep your back straight, push through your heels. Nice range of motion, but you also don't need to go through the full range of motion. You can do a lunge as well. And with all of these, you can hold on to something. You can hold on to a partner.
Okay.
The lunge, drop down like that. Some back workouts you could do is if you have any type of weight or object, you could sit here like I had my friend, just with a resting hand on here and just pulling any type of weight you got up. It's really good for your back there.
So is this, I'm going to pop on the screen again. Hello, everybody. Is this where you could use like the milk jug?
Absolutely.
Okay.
A milk jug would be great. If, like you said, the kitchen counter, just post up at the kitchen counter and just row. This is called a row. Just row that milk jug or whatever you have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, y'all, if you are an upper body amputee, this is something that you might not try, or you might try with a partner. Okay. But there are other exercises that you can do for folks who might be arm amputees that focus on your legs and lower body. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Show us another.
Absolutely. So like I said, we have the squat and we have the lunge, and then somebody brought up hip flexors. And so I actually have a lot of issues with my hip flexors. I can even feel it right now. One of the things I do is called to open the gate. So you lift your knee up, and once again, you might need to hold something here. You lift your knee up, you rotate it externally out here, drop it, bring it in, and then you can go backwards too. It's a great way for loosening up the hip flexors as well as strengthening it when you're raising your leg here. So as far as strengthening the hip flexors, you can sit here and just raise your legs. Very easy. You could grab something, grab onto anything, just raise your legs here. And you can do that in a seated position as well, which is why it's great. Stay down here, strengthen those hip flexors just like that.
And that was actually, Coach, that was actually Van Gregory's question. So thank you for clarifying that, Van Gregory. So he would like some clarification as what exactly are the hip flexors? Because we were talking earlier about range of motion with your side, your back, your hamstrings, your glutes. So tell us, give us an anatomy lesson. Where are we exercising the hip flexors?
Okay, yeah, so I'm trying to read your question. Yeah, so the hip flexors, they're on the front of your hips right here. And they're called the hip flexors because this motion is called flexing your hip. Or like this, either way, when this angle is becoming smaller. And so this hip flexor is the muscle that drives your leg up as well as your quad. On the back, you have the glute and the hamstring, and they are protagonists, antagonists. They work opposite of each other. And hip flexors are very important to keep healthy, keep stretched, because if you do have an issue like I've had, daily life becomes pretty difficult. Even just standing up, getting into your car, lifting that leg. I've had some days where it hurts really bad. So it's important to roll it out. You can sit here and use your hand and just feel right here on your hip flexor, right beneath hip bone, in and down right here. You just press, roll it. A good stretch for that, which you might need assistance for, is a lunge position, and then you lunge forward into it. So it's important to keep those hip flexors stretched and working right here.
Okay. And Crystal, honey, I see you have a question too. Type it in the chat for us so that we can hear it. You all know we always have IT and tech issues here. And this time I don't have headphones on, so I can't hear anything. How many shows have we done? Because that's how many different tech issues we have had. We are never one to disappoint when it comes to that. Put your question in here and we will read it. Okay, Crystal, and we'll get that question answered before the end of our webinar. Anyone else, if you've got questions, you can put them in the chat and we'll read them. Any other suggestions for at-home exercises that folks can do?
You got anything that I didn't hit?
You can get creative. As far as
stretches?
Stretches, I'm glad that you brought that up already.
John actually put that in the chat. Stretching, that's a good question.
Okay, that is a good question. So, I had one similar. Okay, now it would require you to get on the floor.
That too. Sorry to cut you off. Thank you, Lynn. Please mention stretching hip extensions for above knee amputees. There you go.
There's one I do. It's very similar to him, but it required the knee goes on the floor, and it might be a little bit easier.
Let's back everybody up so that we can see you.
Yeah.
We'll back everybody up here, and we'll get in front of our fancy UFC Gym logo.
There's like two I can show you. Okay. All right. And instead of how you went, kind of like this.
A little bit more back so we can see
more
you.
back.
Sorry. Okay.
So
there we go. Okay.
This also is going to stretch the hammy a little bit. And you don't have to go down far, but then you can go like this.
Emily, would you like to try this?
See how I'm kind of bending forward with my hand, because I have my hand here.
Okay.
So this is very safe. Okay. And then you can, lean backwards a little bit to get that, the hammy, stretch. You'll feel that in your hammy. Alrighty. So you can lean forward, hold it, backward.
Okay.
Okay? And like I said, on your comfort level, don't like push it, because if you push it, you can potentially tear something. That's why I tell you, like, use your hand. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So you have balance.
Or a partner.
Or a
if you need
partner, yeah. Partner is very, like, if you don't feel comfortable with any of these, stretches or any exercises, definitely have a partner, okay? It's good to have a partner for many reasons other than motivation. Safety is the most important thing. So yeah, so you can start off like that. Like I said, hand down, right on the ground, and then right there, and then.
Yep. If you need an easier way to do this, or slightly easier, I guess, if you're able to do it, you could stand here and just fall. Just fall.
Fall
That's another way too.
Yeah, so this is the opposite of the hip flexor. We got a question about the hip extensors. Yeah, so obviously I know it's I can't even touch my toes, so I'm not a good example. I apologize. But just falling over, building up a tolerance for that, whatever you can do, is really good for stretching this posterior chain and keeping it nice and loose, just like we have the lunge for the front and stuff like that. So.
Great point. And so Lori asked a question, which I think we were going to show in a little minute, because I saw y'all when we were rehearsing on the floor. So heaven help us, we're going to get on the floor in a minute.
Okay.
So Lori's question is, can tummy time help for flexors?
Is tummy time? I've never heard of that. Is that just laying on your tummy?
Being on the ground, I think doing this what I call the Superman.
Oh,
yeah,
Maybe
that
is
is
that what
great.
you mean, Lori? Okay,
That's a great one. Yep.
This thing here. Okay, shall we demonstrate?
I will try.
Okay.
Like I said, I've never done this, so please don't make fun of me.
Okay.
What are we talking? Like a Superman, like that?
Yes.
Oh,
there
yeah.
we go. Lori shaking her head. Yes.
Is that good, Laura? Lori, sorry.
There
Just
we
like
go.
that? Okay.
And that stretches him too. Okay.
Yeah, so this, we spend a lot of time sitting, and this is my issue for my hip flexors. I think this is what caused it. Spend a lot of time sitting, and that shortens the hip flexors, and so they end up kind of getting not stuck, but they stay in this position, a 90-degree angle, when naturally it's supposed to be like this. And so any movement in the opposite direction is going to be good. So that Superman is me going like that, which is the opposite of sitting, which is like that. So that's great. Thank you for telling me about that, actually. I'm gonna have to use that for myself.
There you go. Okay,
Yeah, thank
send
you.
your consultation fee bill to
Yes.
UFC Gym. Thank
Please
you, Lori,
do.
for that.
Yeah.
That's a great tip.
Thank you.
Crystal had a question too, a little bit further up about how well do things like soup cans and milk jugs actually work?
Amazing. If you're doing, like I said, you don't need weight to do these. You got to keep your upper body strong. Think about it like you're pushing yourself out of your chair. You're pulling yourself to get into a car on the handle. You need to keep everything up here safe and strong. When it's not safe and strong, that's when stuff will slip. That's when you could get an injury. So any type of pulling movement, like just sitting here holding a can of whatever it is and just pulling it up, just sitting here like this, is great for your rear delt, keeping the shoulder nice and strong. And same thing with holding a Coke can, or like I said, holding nothing. You don't need weight. There's many ways to change the intensity of a workout, whether it's less rest, doing it for more time, doing it for more reps. There's a lot of different ways to increase the intensity without weight. So yeah, sitting here with a can of Coke in your hand, going up and going like this.
Coca-Cola, by the way, everyone. Keep it
Coca-Cola.
PG. Okay.
Yes.
That's what we're
Sorry
talking about.
I don't want to. Yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
We are not lawyers, okay? We cannot get you out of jail. We have no bail money. All right, Crystal, I think she's making a point that a lot of people are making is a lot of people didn't know where the hip flexors were. So I'm glad that we actually asked those questions.
Yep.
They are so incredibly important for folks who are lower limb amputees. Now, gentlemen, I'd like to talk a little bit about core strength and then diet and hydration. Is that okay?
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Core strength, super important for everyone, right? But particularly for folks who have lost a limb and now are relearning their balance, right? Suggestions for how you build up core strength.
Yeah, absolutely. Core is incredibly important when
We'll
it
get
comes
Emily
to.
up here to be our model. Go ahead.
Yeah, so core is very important when it comes to preventing injuries. Everything comes back to having a strong core. Back injuries, leg injuries. I'm actually dealing with some right now that I've been told lead directly to having a weak core. So it's been a priority of mine this past month. I've been doing a lot of planks. If you don't know what a plank is, and this is obviously not the easiest thing, I can barely do it. So we'll talk about a couple modifications as well. You have a high plank up here. And this, you can do it at home. If you're able to, I recommend it. But you can do a high plank like this, and you keep the back flat, and you squeeze the core, and you remember to breathe. You can drop to your knees, too. This is a modification here. You're on your knees with your hands like this, bracing your core and breathing. and you want to hold it for a time until it gets tough. Like I said, it's hard to find a good time for everybody here, but do it until it gets tough, take a break, and then go back into it. Remember to breathe the whole time, keep the back flat. Another one that you can do sitting here is a leg raise. So this, it looks pretty easy, but it's not. You lift one leg at a time, and I can even feel my core working right here on my right side, and then you lift the other leg. And if you want to progress in that, you lift both legs, holding on right here, and you hold. Now this is actually way more difficult than it looks. So I recommend starting with one leg.
Just holding your legs up.
Yeah.
Or leg if you have a prosthetic. Okay.
Yeah, very, very, very much more difficult than I thought. So I recommend starting off with this, and then even static holds, a plank on your knees, or if you have a kitchen counter, this might not be the best way to demonstrate it. But you can even do a plank just like this. It's all about keeping that core tight for a prolonged period of time. It'll build up that strength and endurance, all right?
About how long do you recommend someone hold that position?
So it's hard, like I said, it's hard to say a proper time because some people can sit there and hold it for minutes on end. And then a guy like me who looks really fit, I can only hold a plank for 40 seconds.
Okay.
So I recommend going at your own pace, do it until it gets tough, remembering what time that is. And then a way to progress that is to do it for more time next time you come in and do it.
Okay. Now, I want to try this, you all, because I read somewhere that Cher does a 5-minute plank every day, and that's why she is the way she is.
That's different.
So I want to look like Cher. So here,
Yeah.
Emily, you hold the microphone.
What kind of plank are you going to be doing?
I don't, let's see which one I can do, and then we'll get to number 6. Emily will ask the next question, but let me try it this way. Okay, hold on.
Yep. You got a high one. You got a high plank or a low plank. You can either be down on your elbows. Your back is perfectly flat. You can get down on your elbows. Yeah.
How am I doing, guys?
It's perfect. Flex those abs right now. Yep. There we
My
go.
ab?
I can see a difference there. And remember to breathe. Yep.
Okay. Actually, it is very hard.
Yeah.
It's harder this way than...
Yep. You end up shaking. And when you're shaking, that's when you're working those muscles that you never, ever work.
Ooh, okay. All right.
And then
so,
this is a,
And then you do this. Okay.
yeah.
Ta-da!
Absolutely.
Everyone. Thank you very much.
You got a six-pack now.
5 minutes every day, and you will look like Cher.
Good to know.
Hair sold separately.
Hair sold separately.
Any other suggestions for core strength before we get to diet and hydration?
Oh, there's a lot of ways to work your core. But it's important not to overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Stick to what things we just said is stick to your ability. Start on an elevated incline plank, and then work your way down to a flat plank if you can. If you're not in the space to be able to do a plank, I recommend sitting here in your chair, just lifting these legs. Like you would not guess that this works your core, but it absolutely does. And once you can sit there and do that, lift your legs and hold them. Those are great ways to challenge your core. And so I would stick to those. It's important not to get too complicated.
Great. I see we have some questions here. And I saw Van Gregory. You're welcome. You deserved that. You deserve that. And I'm sure everyone on here agrees. So you're welcome for that. Questions, though, or comment from Lynn, which I was thinking, too, is to remind folks that you can do these exercises, a lot of them from your couch or your bed.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
So if you're not at the kitchen counter and you don't want to do that, or at a chair, if you're laying in bed in the morning, do the exercises. If you're on the couch, maybe not while you're stuffing your face with Taco Bell, but
Yeah.
which is the next topic we're getting to. But you can do these while you're watching TV when you don't need special equipment at all.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Emily, next question.
Okay, so how do diet and hydration factor into an exercise routine?
That's actually a really good question, actually. So hydration, okay, is very important. And I use this simple guide, okay? 8 glasses of water or 2 liters, okay?
Every day.
I mean, it's to keep yourself healthy. I mean, yeah, like it's good because like you got to think, okay. I mean, most of our body is made up of water, and it's really important. You know, it's good for. I mean, if you know, you'll notice a difference in your skin complexion whenever you're hydrated. You'll have clearer skin, all that. I mean, that's besides the point. But like, with having proper hydration, like the 8 glasses of water, like I said, and diet. Okay, like I'm glad you brought up diet.
Yeah. Here.
Okay, I use this analogy. I try to make it simple. Okay, calories in, calories out. Obviously, make sure you're, adding, good sources of protein, good sources of carbs, all those good things, good fats already. And I mean, like, I use kind of like this analogy with a car in how our body works. So like think of like going to a gas station, okay? And if you're pumping gas and the full gauge, you got the full gauge, you got the empty gauge. If you go past that full gauge, you're gonna have a mess everywhere, okay? And our body works very similar like that. So we're just gonna call ours maintenance, okay? That's what our gas gauge is called, maintenance, because we can only consume so much in a day until we start storing fat, okay? So the goal is to either want to maintain. If your goal is to lose weight, you want to take a little less than maintenance, okay? So like if you're taking in too much, which is called a surplus, okay, will cause you to gain weight. It's kind of like the gas analogy. If you fill up your gas tank, gas is going to go everywhere, okay? If you eat too much, you're going to start storing fat, alrighty? But the main thing is to make sure that you're having, you know, a balance of the carbs, the proteins, okay, and good fats in your diet, alrighty? And, you know, just be conscious. I'm also a big firm believer in eating your calories, okay? I feel like, you know, we get too caught, like a lot of times, like, you know, people that come to me, they're like, I don't understand why I'm putting on weight. Well, a lot of times, like coffee's a big one where people consume a lot of their calories. I don't know if any of you are coffee drinkers, but like lattes are a big caloric, okay, intake. Some lattes are like 600 calories. That's a meal right there if you think about it right there. So I try to eat like my calories. I hope I'm making sense.
You are making sense. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just saying, once again, this is not to replace any of your actual dietary needs that you all specifically have. This is just from our perspective, and we work with people in the gym with working out, so we do have a lot of our people have specific weight loss goals, weight gain goals, and that's where your maintenance calories, you either add to them or take off, and then that's when you'll achieve those goals. But a lot of people have different like vitamin deficiencies, things like that. You all need to worry about your own specifically. So like I said, just take this with a grain of salt once again. So
and keep in mind, you all, for those of you with special dietary needs, particularly sodium for a lot of our amputees, right? We will have in March a conversation with a nutritionist specific for nutrition for amputees. So stay on the lookout for the flyers for that. More basically, I'm wondering if you recommend people eat and drink before, during, or after a workout, or does it depend on the kind of workout you're doing?
Yeah, you definitely want to eat before a workout.
Really?
Yeah, just for your energy levels. Preferably some type of fast digesting carb, but it's really not that important. I mean, like I said, you might know for yourself, you might need to eat before you work out. You might have something off in your diet that you need to address. But for me is eat before a workout just so I have energy to push myself through it. Drink plenty of water before a workout. And I noticed a difference for myself. I have much lower energy if I don't eat before a workout. I try to eat a few hours as well so it's digested. But once again, with diet, it's a very case-by-case thing. So it's important to know yourself and not take advice from... It's important to listen to me, but not blindly apply it to yourself.
Yeah, great point. Yeah. Now, I saw some questions in the chat that I'd like to ask to all of you. And you all, we're kind of coming close to the end of our session. We will end at 3 o'clock as always. And so if you have other questions, now is the time to put them in the chat so we can ask them. We're going to kind of close out on the topic of gyms in a moment, but I'd like to get to these questions if you don't mind. Crystal had a great question. Then Dr. Sue kind of tagged in on her too. So for Crystal, it hurts to get on my knee. Is it safe and okay to put a cushion on the floor? And then Dr. Sue suggested that one thing that she does is that she uses a chair. Okay, she leans forward to sweat. So what are your thoughts on those? Like, first of all, using a cushion, and the second, kind of modifying the exercise to use a chair or kind of lean forward?
That's a really good question. And honestly, I'm a firm believer in, you gotta, be comfortable with the exercise. Or else you're not gonna wanna do it. You gotta actually like doing the exercise. So yes, you can use a cushion on the floor. Like there's certain like core exercises, which I'm not gonna recommend this exercise, but like for like core, like certain ones, like, you ever seen people do the ab roller?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. That would be something that I would put a cushion on the floor on because it's hard on my knees. So yes, that's not going to hurt or take anything away from any of the exercises that we showed you today. Absolutely. I would definitely do that if it's going to make you feel more comfortable doing the exercise.
Great. Yes. And then Dr. Sue had a suggestion, maybe modifying the position altogether to get that same benefit of a stretch. Always a good thing to talk to a professional about, which brings us to our next question. Tell us more about the benefits of joining a gym, right? So we started out by saying you don't have to look like these two here to go to a gym. I love Emily, you look great, but you can look like us, okay? And you can still go to a gym. Tell us some of the benefits of going to a gym.
Yeah, absolutely. My biggest my biggest takeaway from a gym is the community. It's very easy to be discouraged and just be all up in your head at home. And once you get to the gym, it's like all those people around you push you and motivate you more than you would have ever thought. So my biggest thing is the community and having that motivation around you, making friends at the gym. And then obviously you're going to have like state-of-the-art equipment there, especially at a gym like the UFC gym with the recovery and all of that. You could do literally any type of fitness routine, whether it's boxing, cardio, weightlifting. They have everything and more. So it's a mix of not having limitations because you do have everything right there in front of you. It's a mix of the community. And then also for people with limitations and people that need extra help, they could sometimes be kind of scared to go to a gym. And I understand that. I recommend having either an accountability partner or a workout partner. Helps a ton with that, getting into the gym. And then also personal training at a gym like UFC, where it's me and Jonathan. I think we're both very approachable, encouraging
Yes,
humans.
you are.
And our gym's culture is very much just like us. And so I think if you can get in there and just immerse yourself, I think a gym will help propel you to different heights because of the motivation and the community. Whereas if you do it by yourself, you might kind of hold yourself back in a way. But once again, not for everybody. That's just my perspective.
Yeah, and in fact, some gyms, and maybe Jonathan, you can talk about this, some gyms like UFC Gym Pittsburgh have recovery centers where when you're done working out, you can get the hydro massage and the red light therapy. Tell us about that and why that kind of thing matters for a workout.
Okay, so that's a really good question. Okay, recovery, okay, we talk about, the training and all of that, but like nobody ever talks about the recovery process or, resting, I always say train hard, but rest hard too. Okay, so the benefits, of recovery, is like with the red light therapy, you brought that up. So we have this cocoon, that's red light, it's a sauna and a massage bed in one. And the benefits of that, is it boosts your metabolism, It can help also with your mental health, anxiety. Like, so if any of you have anxiety issues, like I notice right away when I come out of there, I just feel more level-headed when I come out. It's good for, any toxins that you have in your body. Obviously, you're going to sweat them out with the sauna. Red light and the heat together is just a good combo because it goes deep beneath the surface of the muscle and helps with any inflammation that we have in our body. That's a really good, plus the massage bed. You have that 3-in-1.
Hello, massage bed. Yes.
And it's going to help with, any deep tissue work that you have in your body. It's really important, to take care of any delayed onset muscle soreness. That's a soreness that you would feel after, a workout the next day.
Yeah.
And this helps, with the, feeling that the next day.
Yeah. And for those of you, think about this. For residual limbs, if you have pain, if you've had a recent modification surgery, phantom limb pain, please talk to your doctor, okay? Yeah. For Carl, and I will speak for him because this is actually on one of our podcasts. Go to our YouTube page and you'll see it. He actually used red light therapy when he was recovering from osseointegration surgery. You must talk to your doctor about engaging in any kind of that type of treatment, even in a gym setting for your residual limb. All right. Now, I saw some comments there, and then I think we're kind of wrapping up our session here today. Jamie asked a great question, which brings me to another point about gym membership. Jamie was asking about whether the gyms have classes or programs specific to amputees. I'll answer that. It depends on the gym, okay? So you're going to want to call and ask and find out what they can do that can be adaptive, whether it's specific to folks with limb loss or limb difference or something that can be adaptive based on your abilities. Right, guys?
Absolutely.
Okay, there you go. So there's the answer to that. And Van Gregory put a great resource in the chat for us, Challenge Athletes Foundation. Full membership grants to EOS Fitness Gym. If you've got that in your area, check out Challenge Athletes Foundation. If you want to know more, you can contact us. We can help you. But here at Amputee Aid, we see gym memberships as a necessary part of your treatment, and we would be happy to help you with the cost of that with the UFC gym if you're here in the Pittsburgh area or anywhere we can find a gym in your area. Emily, this is something social workers do, right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us how you can help find a gym for folks.
So basically, I just look, I need to know where you live, what state you live in. But basically, I just start Googling, to try to see some places in your area. And I can go ahead and call and ask those questions if you don't feel comfortable doing that.
All right. Now, guys, as we're coming to the close of our session today, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our group?
One point about the group classes with modifications. I just want to say for UFC specifically, I do teach a few of the group classes, and we have all levels of ability there. Mm-hmm. I'm confident that any type of thing I see there, we'll be able to come up with a modification. It's all about just understanding and being patient. I don't think it needs to be advertised specifically for that. I think you just need the right coach. And I just want to put it out there that at UFC, I think we're more than capable of modifying and making everybody comfortable. So just another option for you guys out there.
Absolutely. We love UFC Gym Pittsburgh. We're so grateful that they give us their time and their expertise literally whenever we ask. And you will see them again. Maybe it'll be you two.
Yeah,
in the springtime, we'll be doing some outdoor fitness activities. So thank you guys so much for giving us your expertise. Everyone, we will include contact information for UFC Gym Pittsburgh if you're in the area and want to know more about Recovery Center, how to get involved with coaching, the classes that they have there. We will include that in our email on Friday with our recording. We will also, as always, have our contact information. If you need to reach Emily, I'm backwards. I'm trying to Emily to get in contact with a gym in your area. We can help you as well. Final takeaways I would love you all to have is there are lots of ways to be physically fit. Carlotta, chair yoga. We heard from Dr. Sue and Crystal about modifications with pillows, right? With leaning on the counter, doing things literally from your bed or your couch. Do not recommend fast food at that time, but you do you, YOLO, okay? You might not get the calorie deficit you're looking for.
Yeah.
But most importantly, movement is medicine, right? So movement is medicine. Always consider movement in the greater context of your overall health care, your mind-body connection, but also what your doctor recommends, your prosthetist recommends, your physiatrist recommends. This is part of an overall treatment plan. Thank you guys for giving us your advice and your expertise today. And if you all have other questions, send them in to us. We're going to keep another sheet going. So the next time in the spring when we come back with UFC Gym, we'll have more information about adaptable fitness. Stay tuned because we will also have amputee-specific nutrition and physical therapy for people in the limb loss and limb difference community. Those are two specialized subjects that we have on our calendar for 2026. Y'all, thank you for joining us for another episode of Life Amplified. Next week, we're doing some giveaways, and we have Kim McClure here with color therapy, skincare, and mental health, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about makeup, and it's for the guys too, skincare. We're going to do some giveaways. We're going to talk about color and how it can make you happier. So in the meantime, do your workouts, do your core strengths. Everyone come back looking like Cher. Do your planks 5 minutes a day. And as always, take care of yourself. Have a wonderful rest of the week and a great beginning of next week. And we'll see you back next Wednesday, 2 o'clock Eastern time on Zoom and TikTok for another session of Life Amplified. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.